What is good, everybody? I feel like my eyes are darting all over the place. I am trying to set this thing up as good as possible. But yeah, what's good, everybody? My name is Giga Millhouse, and I will be interviewing my friend Niels. We became friends during the entire lockdown. I know how it must have been hard making friends during the lockdown, but it's actually quite easy when you have access to the internet and you're not in a third world country that doesn't have an internet. So, for all those who have internet, thank you for stopping by and saying hello, or even stopping by just to see how curious you are about the animation industry. I have a special guest today called Nhils. She goes by Nhils. I don't know why I said called Nhils, but she goes by Nhils. I'm doing such a good job. um, it's a special stream starting at 12 today because of the time zone differences, and I will be hanging out maybe a little bit later or longer. Not too sure. It really depends on my schedule that I have going on right now. So, um, further ado, let me just introduce you guys to Niels.
Hello, everyone. Oh, I am Emily. You can find me online with my username Nils, and I'm a 2D animator based in France, where I was born and raised, and I mostly worked in feature films. So, yeah, I
That is
think that's
dope.
about it.
That is dope. Uh, how excited were you when you first got your first job working in the studio?
I was very excited. It was a very small gig. Like
Yeah.
I didn't get like I did a very good school, but I didn't get super great jobs right away.
Uh huh.
Um, my first gigs were very short commercial things, like they would only be like a week or two's worth of work.
Uh huh.
Um, they paid pretty well, but it wasn't enough like to cover the rent or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really like coming with my 200% of energy
Yeah.
into these gigs, being like, yeah, I'm finally getting paid for what I'm doing. Um, yeah, I think I was really excited
Mm-hmm.
for every next job because every new job is a different project. So it's like
Yeah.
starting over.
Yeah. Um. So, how long have you been drawing and like working your way up to being an animator?
I think there's a lot of people that answer that they started drawing when they were kids and never stopped.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm one of these um typical stories.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, it took me forever to know that you could make a living out of your art. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, oh yeah, cartoons, they're nice, they're so neat.
Yeah.
People who make them, who are they? They're just born into the industry, right? They're just born this way, and not me though.
Yeah.
It took me forever. Like I think I was about 20 when it clicked for me that I was like, wait, I can do it. Or at least I can try. And what was the question again? I'm so sorry.
Well, how long?
Oh yeah,
Was
how long I
like,
was
oh, I guess
drawing.
when you were like serious, like I'm gonna be an animator, like
Mm,
that
yeah.
calling, like I'm this is my thing, this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm going to get in
Mm.
this way.
Um, yeah, I stumbled upon a book about animation when I was 19 or 20 at a friend's. He was working at a game studio, and I
Hmm.
was just hanging out there, and I stumbled upon this book from Richard Williams called The Animator Survival Guide.
I got that
And
book.
yeah,
It's the Bible.
Bible.
Yeah.
It's the Bible. So I just was browsing through the pages, and I liked drawing artistically, but the way that there was a technical side to the animation industry just kind of clicked for me, and I was like, yeah, this is what I was meant to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so around I might have started drawing seriously around, yeah, being 20.
20. Okay, that's cool. That's super cool. Um, what was it like getting your first opportunity? Like, can you tell me the story of like how you got your first job?
Hmm. I don't know if my first job is the most interesting story. I don't have like a very oh, I got hired by Disney straight away.
Yeah,
I didn't get hired by Disney, but
yeah.
that's not my story.
I feel like
But
gunning for Disney at your first go is kind of a big. It's like a big giant leap. I feel like
people do that.
yeah.
People do that. And some people succeed, and all the good for them. Like honestly, like
Mhm.
you go, champ. When I graduated, I had very bad imposter syndrome.
Mhm.
I had no confidence in my work,
Yeah.
and yeah, I was in a very strange mentality. So, at my school, when you're graduating, they invite a couple of studios from the Paris area because yeah, I'm in France. So this is where my studios are.
Mhm.
And they get to look at the student's portfolio, and if there's like an entry level position that they have available that matches someone's style, they can just offer them a job right away. And
Yeah.
I got offered to do. Can't remember if I got this gig through that or if somebody else recommended me, but I got to do like a very it wasn't even a commercial that people would see on TV. It was um to teach like the door-to-door sellers or like the sellers at the shop how they could present the product in particular.
Yeah.
It was really like simple gig. It wasn't really any animation related, so it was kind of underwhelming um in regards to like it wasn't a show, it wasn't something that people would watch on TV. um it took like about a year for me to get like actual animation jobs that people picture in their mind when they're thinking about a job.
Yeah.
And that it's kind of like a snowball. You start very small, and
Mhm.
as it rolls downhill, it gets bigger. And that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
Um, I progressively got better offers, and just until my friends recommended me to be an animator on a feature film. And then once you
That's
have
cool.
like credits to your name, it's just way easier to get other jobs.
That's super cool. What was the name of the feature film?
Mm, the first feature film I got my credits on was called Dilly à Paris. It was made by a director who did a very famous movie that came out when I was growing up.
Mhm.
That was called Kirikou et la sorcière.
Yeah.
Uh, have you heard of this one?
Hell no.
Hell no.
Nah. Because it's
um,
like it's the foreign films are just like I feel like it's never as like talked about out here, especially like around in California. I wasn't ever in a group where we just talked about like foreign films. It was mostly just like whatever is on television or whatever new anime that came out.
mm-mm. Yeah, and I think it would never get exported to the US because the story is about an African legend
Mm-hmm.
of this tiny boy
Yeah.
who goes to defeat a witch that is taking the water away from the village.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid is naked through the whole movie, and so are many
Oh
of the other
yeah.
characters. So that wouldn't fly, I
No,
think, in the
no.
US at all.
Oh no, because like in the U.S., their standards. Well, I just feel like America is just repressed when it comes to everything. Where
Um,
certain maturity is just it just can't be seen as something that shouldn't be taken in a negative light. It's more like like the really concerned moms and dads, it's like, oh, this is not good for our kids, and this is not acceptable, you know.
Mhm.
But when
Oh,
you get
read
older, you're
here.
like, this is not that bad.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Sorry, I'm
redo.
late.
Oh, that's totally cool. So everyone,
My
this is
PC
redo.
started
I don't know
making a
if you guys
buzzing
remember
sound.
Oh,
your
oh,
PC.
Yeah, it started making a buzzing sound. It was like a power surge, so I had to check it out.
Oh, I see. I
oof.
see. Hope everything's
Is everything
okay.
okay now?
Yeah, I just had to like move some shit around. Like the power supply was a little dusty. I think that's what the problem was.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Gotta
it's all
clean
good
out
now.
that computer, man.
I know, bro. I spent so much money on this thing, better not be cracking up on me now, though.
Yeah, man.
All
I
right,
get
well,
so paranoid with my PC. I
oh,
get super paranoid.
yeah. Well, yeah. Hi, Nils. Nice to meet you.
Hello, nice to meet you too.
So this is redo.
Yeah. What I miss?
Nothing much. We just
Chit
going
chat.
over the intros and talking about experiences and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, should I miss the intro?
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
It's
Oh,
totally fine.
what's up, guys? It's Redo Art here. Just out
He's
here.
natural. I was like, hi, my name.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone who doesn't know me, I'm just out here trying to become a comic book artist. I just want that official professional title. Haven't been
Yeah.
published yet, so that's the short term goal right now.
Nice.
Yeah. And then after that, I'll branch into whatever I'm capable of doing.
Get him, Tiger.
See, now this is the motivation we need, guys.
Right. Man, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it's sometimes really hard trying to just choose a path because I'm a person with so many interests in damn near everything. So
Yeah.
I just
It's a good thing.
right. And that means like I'm multifaceted in a way because I just dabble like in literally everything. I did video game art, made sprites and stuff. Also did my own little animations for school. Illustration, concept art, and I'm just like, okay, I gotta pick a lane here because if I am trying to work anywhere, I need to like I have to have like a firm foot of like what I need to do.
I mean, some people do targeted portfolios. Like me, for instance, I'm mostly an animator. That's what I feel most comfortable with now. But
Yeah.
that wasn't always the case. Like when I first started school, it was pretty sure that storyboarding would be my call, or
Mhm.
character design work, but certainly not animation. And turns out it's kind of got reversed. I can still do storyboards and character design, but yeah, you can make a targeted portfolio if you have several proficiencies. Just make
Mhm.
one that focuses on one part of them.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking about
Just
like having like a
choose
major and a
what you're gonna
minor.
specialize in.
Yeah,
Just choose it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
because
Choose what you gonna specialize in is what I was gonna say.
yeah, was
Yeah.
it? I have an idea of like just doing a making a portfolio that's like concept art heavy, but minoring in like animation. So like yeah, I can do some animated keyframes here and there.
Mm.
I'm working on this project right now. It's a Spider-Man crossover with Street Fighter. So I'm like, what would the Spider-Man characters look like as Street Fighter characters? And I'm doing like the Viscom stuff where I'm like, okay, so if his web shooters are like attached to the glove, how will it be attached to the glove? What type of world is it going to be like? Is there going to be a lot of technology or not that much technology? Because I think the technology between Street Fighter and Spider-Man, I think they're kind of like far apart. Because I feel like Marvel's like more technologically advanced than Street Fighter. I don't know. I just think that way. And
Right?
yeah, and I just want to make the fighting keyframes for like if it was gonna be in a game, like I want to make some fighting animation keyframes for it.
Yeah. I think that work.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Cool. Because I've been feeling hella not sure about it.
I mean that would be good for like an animation portfolio or
Mhm.
character design. It can show that you can land your action poses.
Okay, great. So I'm just slowly but surely just trying to not have the perfectionism aspect of things like get in the way, because that was the thing that stopped me from animating in the first place. Because I wanted to look like a studio did it, or it could have the possibility of a studio making it and stuff. And I just now came to that realization where you cannot you're not going to get any better by thinking that you need to stop to focus on one aspect. You just got to keep on doing it until it gets better. Does that make sense?
You have to keep in mind that studio work is a team effort.
Yeah,
You
that
can't
too.
replace like a whole team of artists, and yeah, done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
Because that's what the most important thing is at the end of the day. No one cares how good you are if you can't get the work done, because then nothing will ever get made.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, I know I struggled with that for a long time. I feel like that's where most artists struggle, like when it comes to getting like work and everything. And then there's also the opposite, where people do nothing but get it done and don't put enough effort into the work or quality, which does happen.
Yeah, you have to find a balance between
You don't,
those two.
you know,
Set yourself some goals and try to actively improve.
Yeah, because there are some people who do nothing but cut corners and reuse artwork, reuse assets, and I'm like, you can only do that for so long.
I mean, it depends, because sometimes in a production setting, you have to work smart. Not pretty, but smart and fast and efficient. It really depends on the situation.
I'm saying like, I'm just saying that like people will do those tricks when they do have the time.
Yeah.
And then like not use their extra time is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I get you.
So, Nhils, do you think you can give me like 3 big tips that you wish you learned before getting into the animation industry?
Yeah. I can probably come up with a few more.
Yeah.
Let me just think for a second.
Yeah.
What I wish I knew. I spent so much time. If we're thinking just about animation, specifically like the art of making movement with drawings. I was kind of a teacher's pet, and I was like a perfectionist. So I wanted to be like, boom. I wanted to start like on hard mode, the game. So I actually spent way too much time and effort trying to make pretty drawings and complicated movement, and not actually learning what movement was. So this is what I tell my students all the time. Doing a good bouncing ball exercise when you're starting out is key. Like getting the difference between spacing, aka where your drawing is within the space. I don't know if they can see my camera because I'm moving my arms.
I got it on you, yeah.
Like within your page, whereas the timing is when you're kind of tweaking how long that drawing stays on screen in the timeline.
Yeah.
And when you're a beginner, those two notions get confused so much. Some people are naturals and they get it straight ahead. It's like immediately, but I didn't. Most students don't. And you really have to drill into your brain that no, you have to get the basics right before you're trying to make, I don't know, an animated sword fight into a staircase. Like,
oh yeah.
So
try to
study that Bible.
Yeah, go through the tutorial first. Don't try to boss rush like speed run.
Yeah.
It's not easy. And then, yeah, that's my main tip for whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Second one would be, don't be mean. Like,
That's
everyone
a
around
universal
you.
rule right there.
I know, but at school, some
Yeah.
people are like a little
Oh
bit
yeah.
ahead of you. Like they've understood like that timing and spacing thing already.
Yeah.
They're next level and that, but they think they're so much better than you,
Mm-hmm.
and they behave sometimes in like very mean ways. But
Yeah.
every artist that surrounds you is potentially going to be your coworker, or could be the person that will help you get a job someday. So why there's no need to be feeling like you're a superior just because your technique is a little bit better than them. They're still a
Mm-hmm.
human being. Their art doesn't value how good of a person they are.
Yeah.
And same way goes around, like if an artist is super good but they're a bad human being, don't go chasing them around. Like there's
Yeah.
no both of these, like talent and being nice, go hand in hand. And like the nicer you are, the more opportunities you get to get hired as well, because this is a team effort. So if you don't work as a team player, it doesn't matter how good you draw. You won't get recommended as much.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas someone who's like a little less better than you at drawing, but is a super great team player, is
Yeah.
going to be a better asset for production. And then a third tip, let me see. Or maybe these are enough. I don't know if I'm talking too much.
No, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help. Like I said, coming out of school, I had a big imposter syndrome, and I struggled for almost a year to get jobs because I felt that if I tried asking for help, I would get branded as someone who didn't get a job, and that must have meant that I wasn't good enough to get a job, and I didn't want to prove them right by showing my portfolio, and it was just a negative spiral, and I was all alone, like having this movie in my head that I was so bad and I wasn't valuable for a
Mm-hmm.
team or anything like that. And I know now that if I'd only reached out to the animation community, so many people would have gotten my back. Like people are nicer than you think, and if they know that you're in trouble, they're gonna go through heaven and earth to do something to help you out. Like
Yeah.
um even though I may not always be in a position that I can recommend someone for a job offer or something, if I can at least like help them improve their portfolio, answer questions, or um, give them the contacts of some studios, recruiting agents, I'll do whatever I can to at least like try to push them forward. And like, yeah. Ask for help, it's okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm trying to think of a good question right now.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Finding cool answers is hard as well.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Have you had a bad experience with a coworker? And like, what happened and how did you handle it?
I did have some not as nice experiences with a coworker, but I wouldn't go as far as to say bad.
Okay.
I've had coworkers who didn't especially like me, and I just focus on my work and it's okay. Like they won't say hello back, it's fine. Like not a big deal.
Okay.
I've had some superiors not being, because there's this thing going on in the industry where people think that being a good artist equals to being a good lead artist.
Yeah.
which is the same thing, because you can be a good artist but not a good team management person, like not a good human.
Yeah.
Yeah, just relationship thingy. And I've like, I'm not the only one in this situation when a leader, like an animation leader, is not good at dealing with people. Usually the whole team feels that way. And the way that I've dealt with it is usually I just try to push through. I'm just trying to get my job done at the end of the day. And yeah, I really try to bridge my way to them. I know what it's like to be shy. I know what it's like to struggle to get your point across. So I just try to read their minds because they're so struggling to, sensitive, or struggling to make you understand what they're envisioning for a shot or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I don't know when to just call it quits and like it's not a good, like, because it's a work relationship. If it's not working, it's not working. And the animation industry is, in France at least, is made this way that if something's not working, you can go. It's fine. Just talk with your team. Don't do it like from one day to the next. Just warn them beforehand. But you can be like, okay, this isn't working for me. It's probably not working good enough for you either. Like, I think someone else can bring more to this project than me. And yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's okay. There's plenty other jobs out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had like terrible experiences with coworkers. It's been fine so far.
Okay.
That's great.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
It stays that way.
How did you get your start in the industry? Or did you guys already talk about that?
We kind of already went through that one, yeah.
I kind of went through this one.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Shit.
I got one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you have any suggestions on animation programs that people with a budget they could try out before they go all into animation?
Yes, I do.
And
Let me.
your favorite.
What is my favorite? My favorite is TV Paint for life. I love this software so much.
I've been trying to get TV Paint for the longest time.
Yeah, it's expensive. Maybe I muted this channel because I wrote a pinned post into Ethan's Discord about it.
Oh.
I think it's an animator feedback.
When you was okay, I thought it was like more when you was hosting a class.
Yeah, I have a master post about it. So, are you ready? Because it's a long one.
Oh yeah. And
okay, so
if you want to live forever on the internet, so if anyone feeling like kind of too slow, like it's always gonna live on the internet too. So like if anyone's a little bit too slow and they can't write it all down, like you can just keep hitting replay and write it down.
I'm gonna talk slowly then, so that they have the time to take it in.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to do animation, so having a couple of frames per second, and you're on a desktop computer, for free you can get Krita, that has a nice animation feature. For all of these softwares, there's so much material on YouTube if you want to learn about them. Like there's tutorials, there's process videos, there's so much. So just desktop, you have Krita, that is free. You have Grease Pencil in Blender, which is also a 3D software. It's a little bit complicated though. Like I haven't tried it yet. I haven't worked my way through Grease Pencil in Blender so far. But I know a couple of people who use it. I feel it kind of goes into the same category as people trying to animate in Photoshop. It's like, you can, but why?
Yeah, right? Because like Photoshop, oh my god, God bless their hearts, but like, it's a pain.
It's like-
it's a pain.
It's like you could have a car with square wheels, but why?
Yeah.
Not gonna have as smooth as experiences with round wheels. They're here, you can have them. So yeah.
man.
There's Open Tunes on desktop as well. I haven't tried this one either. You have Rough Animator, which is also an iPad app. It's only $5, and I think it's really great. I can vouch for Rough Animator.
Nice.
Sketchbook Pro is free, but not very ergonomic. I think it would be a good starting point because if I recall correctly, you can't time your drawings, so you have to focus on spacing. And I think that's a really good exercise for anybody starting in animation. Don't play with the timing at all. Keep it even. Like, if you're animating at 24 frames per second, keep it on 2s or 4s.
Yeah.
And if you're animating on 12 frames per second, keep it on 2s and max. So every drawing would be like 2 frames on screen. I might be a little bit technical, but
oh no, I think technical is like totally needed because the framing is really important.
Yeah.
There's so much animation lingo. I don't want to lose people. And it makes sense for me now because I'm 10 years into my animation career, so I know. But I'm trying to put myself back into the mindset when I was just starting out, and I was like, I don't know the difference between timing and spacing. What are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah, so you have Photoshop, but again, please, there's so much better out there.
There's other options.
Also,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. If you have the opportunity to leave Photoshop, leave. They're not treating you right.
Man,
Yeah, they're
not treating
scamming
your
you.
wallet
They're
right.
scamming you.
they're not treating your wallet right, man.
So expensive. I think there's Affinity Designer.
Oh yeah, and
Is it that
The
is a
anim-
nice alternative? I don't know if they have an animation feature in their
the
program.
studio was pretty good for it.
Yeah, I think the Affinity suite kind of matches the Adobe one, but it's you pay with just once. You don't have a subscription system, and it's affordable, like $50. So yeah, if you want to go like more into the pro level of animation softwares, like don't, if you're just starting out, this is too expensive. You can learn how to animate on free software.
Yeah.
You have TV Paint, who is my baby. If you're a student, it's around $400. If you're a pro, it's around $1,500, which is costly. But yeah, I bought mine when I was a student, and it's worth it. Like,
You get the free upgrades like every time there's an update.
you do. It's a very small French company that develops this software. There's like 5 people, so they've been super protective about it. You had to have like a USB stick connected to your computer to be able to use the software, and they just went with a licensed server, just like Toon Boom, which is next on the list. So
yeah, I used
you can animate
in college, but also again, like it's a monthly, it's a service.
Yeah, it's from $17 to $80 monthly, depending on the version. But you can also pay for a permanent license. It starts around $410 and it goes up to $2,150.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But, okay, but why that price range? Do you know why?
I think it depends on if you're a student or pro. I didn't specify in my master post, so you would have to go on Toon Boom Harmony's website and find out. These two programs like TV Paint and Toon Boom Harmony and Adobe Animate are kind of, the interface doesn't really make sense as a beginner. Like there's it's like a big factory with a lot of buttons and some that don't really do anything besides just create a bunch of smoke and break your animations. So I really recommend, if you're starting out, not to get them. Clip Studio Paint has an animation feature,
Mm-hmm.
and Pencil 2D, but I haven't tried either of those.
Yeah, I've been using Clip, and it's pretty decent. It's supposedly similar to the way Photoshop works, but much more like intuitive.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I know
they
Clip.
use it a lot in the anime industry. I know that.
Yeah, in Japan, I think they use Clip Studio Paint. They use TV Paint as well. These are the two software that Japan uses the most. And yeah, Pencil 2D is free, and Clip Studio Paint is $219, but is often discounted down $25.
Oh yeah.
I think.
It actually still might be on sale right now, so go check the
Right
website.
now, this. I mean,
Yeah.
if I wasn't.
It might be like the last day.
Every time I'm like, oh, Clip Studio Paint is on sale. It's the only like week that I'm super broke and I can't buy it.
Right.
Oh my god.
Because I have so many softwares, it's not. I could just get myself a nice meal for that
Right.
amount of money.
Right.
I don't need another software for which I already have one that cost me like a month of rent.
Yeah.
And then if you're on the iPad, again, my personal favorite is Rough Animator. It's only $5. It works really nicely. It's like it's got everything you need out of the box. But I know some people prefer Flip-a-Clip, which is free.
Mm-hmm.
Calipeg, which is either $1 monthly or $40 for a one-time purchase.
Yeah.
Lately there's another software that came out that's called Loom that was $10. And you can also animate in Procreate, which costs $10, but it's like Photoshop.
Yeah.
It's like animating in Photoshop. It's the same system, which
It's not that great.
it's not that great. You can do it, but it's I struggle trying to get the render I want.
Oh, I see. But like for like just regular animations, well, not regular animations. How would I say this? For something that's not like super complex, I think Procreate is totally okay, right? If you're just
if you're making like a little GIF or something,
yeah,
you'll be just fine in there.
Yeah.
Probably if you just have one layer and it's just one color. Otherwise, I would recommend Rough Animator, because the way that the timeline works in Procreate is that every frame has its own set of layers. So when you create a new frame, let's say if you have a character and so you have one layer for the skin, one layer for the overlay of the hair. So maybe you want to keep the face static, but the hair goes whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Yeah.
And whenever you create a new frame, you're going to have a new layer for the face, a new layer for the hair. And it just multiplies. And then when you're in your layer panel, you just have like 2,000 layers for every frame that you had.
Yeah.
Whereas a usual animation software has one layer for the hair, and then you just add a drawing in them. And then one layer for the face, and you can hold the drawing for the face, and it's just one. And it's there, and it's not going to duplicate itself. And it's just... Maybe I'm just more used to that system, but it makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
And then if you want to do 3D, there's Blender, which is free. Unity, which is free. Side Effects Houdini, which is also free. Maya, which is free for 1 year if you're a student, or $205 monthly.
No, I thought
3ds Max, which is the same. And Cinema 4D, which is expensive.
Yeah.
And then if you're doing stop motion, Dragon Frame. That's the only one.
Was that the entire list?
I think so. Yeah, it's it takes my whole screen. It's a big post.
It's a bit. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Oh man.
They're good.
Opening up all the wrong things. I'm like, I'm just opening up all the wrong things on the Twitch stream. Still trying to like get the hang of using this stream deck.
Oh, is it like a shortcut to like switching between screens?
It's like a little app that I can control on my phone. So I switch in and out of scenes for different questions or whatever.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I can only see the Discord chat, so I can only imagine.
Yeah. What else? Do you ever use any 3D for your animations? Because I'm seeing Blender is becoming more of a staple now in some animations.
I know there's a lot that can be done, mixing 2D and 3D animation. Just look at the world of Gumball, which does it so well.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not too good at 3D. It works just so differently from 2D animation for me.
Yeah, I
And
have like such a hard stance on 3D when I was like younger.
me
I
too.
was like, 2D is the way to go. Like the 3D stuff, you just can't get all the cool effects that 2D can do.
I mean, it's nice that now some people are pushing for more creative uses of 3D.
Yeah.
And not just the standard characters with the eyes have fully detailed irises, but your character is cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And their hair is just shapes. It's not actual strands of hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. This weird mix of trying to have a realistic rendering on a cartoony look just taps straight into the uncanny valley, and that's how you had Sonic version 1. For the movie. And
it makes shit look really weird. Especially even if they go like full, like trying to make shit look 2D, which I always hate because it's like either you're 3D or 2D, pick one, don't pretend to be the other. But they'll have stuff like that, and then all of a sudden have the most realistic smoke simulation. I'm like, okay, that is way out of place.
Have you seen the Sony Peanuts movie?
Peanuts?
Yeah, Charlie Brown.
Oh no, I haven't.
It is so cute, and they have like this very unique use of 3D. I mean, it kind of looks 2D, but 3D. It's just so refreshing when you've come from like all the Sony, all of the Disney Pixar movies kind of look the same because they have the same character model. And I know that they need to have like a very easy to understand character design that's like branded, and like you see it and you go like, of course it's Disney, but
I mean, the last one, the most recent, like the Soul movie, had a lot more unique models in it, like different head shapes and everything. You haven't seen it?
I don't have Disney Plus.
Oh, there's other ways. All right, but anyway,
I know. I should try to.
Yeah, put the eye patch on.
I know. A couple of friends were like, "Oh, we should watch it together," and then it never happened. So I should just watch it on my own.
Yeah, it's worth it. Like you see a lot of.
I know it looks so good.
Yeah, and like, hate to be that guy, but seeing black hair finally rendered that way in a way that looks real, that changes the game. So now that Disney did it, no one else has an excuse not to.
Right.
They didn't have an excuse to begin with. Like, why?
No, because like I know a lot of people that just don't know how to draw that kind of hair.
Yeah.
Or
you
rendering it
in
in
3D.
That's
they had to learn how to draw people.
Yeah,
why not?
And that would be normally like the industry standard. Like you gotta know how to draw all different types of people from all different types of backgrounds, and
Yeah.
the thing that kills me is like also in the gaming category. Like I
Oh
can
yeah.
never express how frustrated I am to like play a cool
Mm-mm.
game and like okay, I just want a character to look just like me. All right, so no Afro citric hair, but I can turn my character slightly darker. Like okay,
Yeah.
Bro, I mean, you seen what I look like. I'm like a really like in between tone. Everything's
mm,
always bright as hell or dark as hell, and it's only just the
yeah,
fucking cornrows, full blown dreads or afro.
yeah. It's always the same hairstyles too.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
but
I don't
now
know.
things are
There's so
changing.
much more creativity, and like it doesn't cost you anything to add these options. If you can add like bangs,
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah,
like it's kind of wild how they still haven't caught on to this stuff yet.
Hmm.
You know. Oh, and the funniest thing I remember seeing was when the reverse happened. Because you
yeah.
know the basketball games 2K,
Oh yeah.
Mm.
all they had was black haircuts and only like two like straight haircuts. And people were confused and like, yeah, it's how it is for
Yeah.
literally every other game.
Yeah, I'm part of collectives here in France that try to push for more representation diversity.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's really the producers and the people who have the money who are usually like old white men,
yeah,
and
and
they're the ones kind of being like, no.
well, they're not going to be around forever, so
Yeah,
Hopefully.
because they're gonna get
we can
like at
literally
least pushed
just wait
out, and
them out.
not really pushed out, but they're gonna be like replaced by people who are like who are younger or more in tune with like today's like standards of things or what the general audience wants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and of course there is such a thing as going too far. You know, like
Yeah,
you don't have to shove it down our throats. Just have them be there. That's it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's it, man. Just gotta be there and look accurate. Tired of
Hmm.
seeing black anime characters with white hair for no apparent reason.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm done
that's my
having like the
biggest
main
pet
character.
peeve.
I'm done having the main character just be like a brown-haired white guy, and
Hmm.
then the female protagonist is just
Brown hair, white girl.
Yeah,
no, it's maybe blonde-haired wild girl. Like,
yeah,
yeah, it looks like me, but I'm tired of seeing that trope.
yeah.
Yeah,
And she's wearing pink or purple,
yeah.
and
And then
they're just copy pasted all the time, the same thing. Like, please,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just saying like mix it up. Like
yeah,
like the location will just change that and it's like you don't have to mention it or like here's the thing that bugs me. It's like all those characters are fine. It's just that they all look the same like every single time. But if you would have changed the race of like let's say Nathan Drake, it changes nothing about his character. He just looks
Hmm.
different
yeah.
now. But like every time they decide to like change the race of a character, they end up like, oh, now we got to win all the fucking cultural background and shit. We need to make sure they got this scene where he's like, eating his cultural foods or some shit. Like I'm like, oh
Yeah.
no, man, just tell the damn story. Like we don't care.
They add the yellow filter to make it look like it's a war zone
Yeah,
suddenly.
I know. I'm like, yo, stop it.
Yeah.
That's not what we're asking for.
Yeah. Even in
uh,
the news,
and by the time
sometimes
they
they
do add in like some diversity, they have like some butchered version of like what they call diversity. I'm like, bruh, please, like I just want like a character, like that's why I also kind of believe that like Sean Thomas is like one of my biggest inspirations for like animation or just coming up with a
Yeah.
project and like do it on your own. But he says like
Mm-mm.
as a black creator, you have to make it yourself. You
Yeah.
cannot sit here and complain about it. You just got to do it
Yeah.
yourself. If you're not gonna do anything about it, then like there's no point of complaining about it.
But he failed us.
Oh my
Cannon
god,
Busters was
yeah, Cannon
trash.
Best just trash. I love that man to bits because he kept it real with me at like
Hmm.
AX and stuff. But like, man, I don't know what
Yeah.
happened there. And I've been
Wait,
You
what
waiting for
see,
Cannon
happened?
Buster since high school.
so one of the animators or storyboarders from Boondocks, a very nice
Mm-hmm.
looking show, like was animated pretty well. He went off to make his own project, and it got picked up by Netflix. But it turned
Yeah.
out to be a wannabe anime, shit show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay,
it looked really bad. And the animation was really off in ways that didn't make any sense. Like there will be low standards in a lot of areas, and the story was really not what we were told.
Yeah.
Plus, he had a comic of this book, and for some reason, now that book is almost impossible to find.
Yep.
And it was Kickstarter and everything, but like what we saw in the Kickstarter, like the pilot that they were making, we can't find that anymore. And that was
That's shady.
yeah, because the way the pilot was looking in the clips, like it's still on the Kickstarter now. If you look it up, it looked much better than what we got, like by far. They even had renowned artists like Bahai JD working on it. But
Bahai JD.
Yeah, but he was nowhere to be found in the final product of the show, except for like one scene in the like opening for the show.
Oh, really?
But they
How much
showed
money did they collect?
It was a lot, and it was just to make a pilot, and then they pitched it to Netflix and got funded by Netflix. But for some reason, the quality was just really bad.
Yeah, usually with Netflix money, you can get pretty far. So
it's odd because he got full funded for the Kickstarter, and then he got funded by Netflix. But the show's quality, it wasn't just the visual quality, it's just like the voice acting, like everything about the show was just below average for some reason. Yeah, let me find the link.
Sounds like bad management usually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
seems like it.
I think also he was fighting over creative ideas, because his first drafts of the characters, or his final drafts, they had to like go back and forth, and like, oh no, this design is not going to work out very well, or whatever, or it's not like appealing in their own statistics or whatever. And then yeah, he started changing all the characters. I'm like, god damn, I like the way how Turnbuckle looked way before the animation.
Yeah, it's
sad that we still have to fight about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the thing that disappointed me the most is that like for the longest time, like with the anime industry, like anime specifically, the stuff that's being made over here is trying too hard to be what's overseas. And I'm like, what? So like a lot of these gestures and like, you know, personality traits and stuff, like they don't translate well because that's not how people act over here. So like things come off like really disingenuous, and it starts to not make any sense. So I'm like, okay, this is like people making their fan fiction a reality, but it's kind of like everything's looking way too cookie cutter, not making their own thing. So I was like, okay, Boondocks was like a start. Everything actually took place over here. Everyone acted like real people. And then for him to make Cannon Busters, I thought it was going to be like the perfect bridge, because it was taking place in a Western setting, a Western theme, made by Western people, and anime inspired in terms of the art form and the quality. So we were just gonna have like an original, unique story, but that's not what happened, and it was really, really weird. I can find the link. I'm
curious of.
Yeah, something must have happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I see that. Because I remember hearing about Cannon Busters, but I thought it had come out like years ago.
Yeah.
It was supposed to come out years ago.
Like
all these 2014.
Wait,
yeah, like if you look right here, all the designs are completely different.
It was supposed to be delivered, and like on the Kickstarter page, it says that it was funded on.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was supposed to be delivered in December 2014.
Damn.
And 2015.
They even had Joe Mad working on this. Like they had him do some concept art, it looks like.
Yeah, I remember I used to like rewatch his Soul sessions. He uploaded on YouTube. I used to watch that shit on repeat.
Seriously, because he actually moved to South Korea and everything to go and like work on it like directly, and he's like, all right.
I think I remember watching a making of video of him going there, or maybe
Yeah, that's the Soul Sessions YouTube videos you're talking about.
Hmm.
So now, if you look at the link I put in the chat and look at the like the concept art and the character designs that are like right there at the top, that is not what we got at all. Some of the designs are similar, like in the clothing, but for some reason, the villain, like him specifically, he really got nerfed in the weirdest way. Like he got hind
Dang.
legs, he got all skinny and shit. He just
Yeah.
did not look any kind of intimidating, and I don't know why they went that route.
Hmm.
Like even the old man, like Nine, like that guy, like you see, he's tall, he's just an old man, like. But now they made him like the short, like gag old man character that you see in anime all the time.
I know what this ring a bell. Cause one of the background designers was my background designer teacher at school.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa. You think you could ask him what happened?
Probably.
because this,
But you may not know because backgrounds come pretty early in the production before animation even starts usually. So like
okay,
whatever went wrong probably happened afterwards, unless you're telling me that the backgrounds were bad.
yeah, no, the backgrounds weren't bad. Backgrounds actually were one of the best parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was Tomaroma and Yan who do like A+ job.
Okay, I got the perfect example. One I knew something was wrong. I was watching the first episode, right? And they were like running away from some bad guys or something, and then something blew up. And then for some reason, it looked really weird. So I rewinded and I watched it. The explosion, like the animation for the explosion, was so bad. It made no sense. Like they made the mistake that I made drawing, like trying to animate explosions back when I was using like my fucking DS on Flipnote.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
because that's the only reason I caught it and why I remembered, because like I didn't understand what was wrong until my brother told me. He's like, when explosions happen, when dust goes in the air, it doesn't go back down, it just like dissipates. So the explosion went up and then went back down into the ground, like that's what the smoke did. And it wasn't even like mushroom shaped or anything like that. No, it looked really flat. And I was like, something's wrong here. And then shit like that just kept on happening. It was like, I was so confused.
It's sad.
It is. I'm like, damn. Something must have happened, really. But yeah, like we need more originality, and we need like less cookie cutter things. You know?
Yeah.
Or like it's just stop trying to be what you've seen, just make your own thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had a question. Because I was really big on time, and I just always wanted to know, like, what are the work hours and tasks normally look like for you now? Like,
yeah.
Is there like a certain time frame where you would do something? Like, let's say if you have to do a scene or so, do you have like an idea of how many hours it's gonna take, or there's really no set time, just get it done?
In a professional setting?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little bit different because I work in France and we have 7 hours of work days, and it's like no more, no less than that. You do your hours, you get home. If it's not done by the end of the day, try to get it done the next day. They're not gonna fire you over that if that only happens a couple of times.
Yeah.
They're like, sometimes you work faster, sometimes you work a little bit slower. You're not a machine.
Yeah.
We have like quotas that we're supposed to try and match. But yeah, they're not gonna fire you if you don't meet them right away. They're gonna try to work with you to kind of adjust it so that you can manage to do them. So if the shots are too hard, they're gonna lower the difficulty or vice versa. If you're doing good, then they're gonna give you more challenging shots.
Okay.
But yeah, it all depends on the shot. Say since I work mostly on feature films, we work 24 frames per second. Sometimes in TV show productions, we can have some shots that are 12 frames per second, so there's less drawings to do. But if there's only one character and they're like cut the same way that my camera is placed, so we don't see my legs, I'm not doing any movements in and out of the screen, it doesn't take too long. It should be done in a day. Like if it's a 2-second lip sync, it goes pretty much very fast. But if it's a complicated sequence, the last movie I was on, I had a horse jumping with a girl on its back, and she was talking to another girl running around for like 12 seconds. Well, it took me way too long than I'm willing to admit to get that shot done because it was just so complicated. But yeah, it really depends on complexity. Like even me as a professional animator with a lot of experience, sometimes I think that a shot is only going to take me 2 days and it takes me a whole week. Sometimes I think it's going to be super hard, and you know what? It's a good day. The animation gods are on my side, and it's just going to work on the first try. But even though I'm kind of more in control now, it still happens that sometimes the feel is into it, and sometimes it's not.
Okay.
So if I wanted
I
to
feel like I didn't answer your question. I'm so sorry.
no, it's okay. It just says like to me it's like okay, it's just do the best you can to get it done, and then whatever's left over that you didn't do, just try to get it done. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But let's say if I needed to work on my speed, let's say if I am trying to push out animations, what would be a good time frame of animations to like crank out? And like how many should I have like done within a day, or like maybe in a span of like every day or something? Like I want to like post at least one animation a day. What do you think would be like a good time frame? Like how long should an animation be, and how long it should probably take me to do it?
There's this Twitter dude that's been doing an animation a day for more than a year now. Teleporte.
I think I remember him. I think was it Wida? He showed his animation.
Probably. I can link it if you want me to.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Obviously, I think this guy plans ahead, because some animations he does are really, how would I say, like time effective. Like if a character just is on one side just for comedic purposes and gets bonked on the head, you just have to do like the sort of squash and stretch that when the bat hits them. And sometimes he has days when there's just a simple animation like that, and then the other day he has like a character walking towards the camera and doing a complex action. I think he actually did them on, like, the first one only took him like a couple of hours, and then he started working on the one for tomorrow, and then on the next day he kept working on it. It took him a day and a half, maybe more. But if you want to get faster at animating, I suggest that you move on. With every new animation, you're gonna learn. So at some point, you're just like, this animation has given me all that it could. I could spend more time on it, but I'm not gonna learn anything new. And it's just an exercise. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be polished. It doesn't have to be posted online. I can delete it and just start a new animation, learn from that new animation, and move on and just repeat that cycle.
Yeah.
Good. Which is what we would do in school. We had a couple of exercises, and you just had to move on to the next one. This is what we would get better on. Whereas when I'm at home and I'm trying to do a personal one, I could spend too much time on it because there's nothing pushing me to finish it.
Okay. I'm looking at his stuff right now. really dope.
Oh yeah.
And just like
Huh.
a few seconds, and some of them just vary. I thought he did like a minute of animation every day or something.
No,
But
that
can
would be
just
too
be
much.
yeah,
Yeah, that
cause
would definitely be too much.
yeah, and that's why I was like, okay, so if I got like a rough timeline of like, okay, how many animations I should probably like post every day, and like what I should experiment with, then I
Yeah.
see like a few seconds is like all is needed.
Yeah, few seconds is a lot. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
a
I heard
lot.
that. I heard that like as big as the like Pixar team is, everyone only animates like 2 or 3 seconds out of each movie. Like that's how much like time they put into it and how many people are working on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think even the movies that I got the most involved on, like there's one that I worked on for 4 years, and I got involved in so many stages of the production. I think even if you take all the shots that I worked on and kind of glue them together, I would be surprised if it would be more than 2 minutes.
Was it
I don't know. That would be
what
an
are your thoughts on
interesting
people on
experiment.
YouTube?
Yeah. Because I
Like
mean a lot can happen
YouTube
in 5 seconds.
animators, they post like videos like I don't know, like once a week or twice a week or 3 times a week. I don't know how, but like maybe okay, so like let's say Domix, young Don the Sauce God. I was gonna shout that dude out. He's really cool. But when they first started animating and becoming a storytime YouTuber, they would like post these videos. I'm like, how long does it take them to make like these 10-minute videos? And it just seems like maybe it's the style or it's
It depends on how many people are working on it.
yeah.
Because sometimes it seems like they're doing it by themselves, but they do have help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they're using a rig. Like
Mhm.
if you have a character rigged out, you don't have to redraw them. You can just, if they're moving, it's kind of like a puppet, and they have
Oh yeah.
assets like the
Oh
lip sync.
Yeah.
They have a couple of mouse shapes, and they just change them so you
Okay.
can cut corners through that, and
So like they
And
streamlined
swinging.
it.
yeah, you can streamline your workflow like this. And yeah, like Ridu said, you can get a lot of information across in just 5 seconds, because all the vines were 5 seconds long, if I remember, and they're pretty memorable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of
English is
them
not my
actually
native language.
some of them actually felt longer than 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, and tweening in animation is really useful. I messed with that one time.
Tweening.
Makes it a lot easier. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm like taking
It's
these
like-
notes down as we go along. Like, okay, some tweening. You know, understand your frames. Read the Bible.
Page 12, chapter 3.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Try to start off small.
Alright. Oh, have you seen Last Man? Like that animation?
I had applied to work on it actually when I just came out of school.
Word.
I didn't get in, thankfully.
I think they're coming out with season 2.
I think so.
Yeah.
I
That
ended up
is really good stuff.
I ended up watching the show. Some of the creators behind it are a little bit problematic, and I
Oh, I didn't know that.
didn't feel like it was the best use of my time to watch
Yeah.
this kind of content. But yeah, I think I've heard a lot of friends say it's pretty great. So
Yeah. I mean, like that is a good example of like tweening. Like they didn't really you could just tell they didn't use that many frames. Like
Mhm.
they did
they
it felt like
really didn't have that much money.
yeah.
Yeah, you have a couple of shows. that look very expensive, but actually are just using very smart cutting corner techniques.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard like the Japanese animating, like, okay, let me rephrase this. Anime in general have they have the craziest budget. Like those, they, like if they're balling on a budget, and the fuckery to do with their frames, like the way how they cut it and still make it look visually cool, and no one being the wiser, and no one like really catching up, unless you know you are an artist yourself or an animator that can see through the bullshit. Like I didn't know how much they're like limited by, and they gotta be really smart and tricky with their frames.
Yeah.
They only get paid by the footage.
Oh yeah, they don't get paid for the hours at all, do they?
Yeah.
No, they get paid by the footage.
Yeah.
So you got to be smart and have the less drawings possible in your shots to kind of have it been done faster.
So that's why
What about
like Dragon Ball Z and all those other like even like let's say Naruto for instance, like they're having their fight scenes, and their fighting scenes are dragged out of 5 episodes because a lot of it's mostly dialogue or some flashbacks, some still frames.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a Japanese animator, you're gonna make much more money if you're animating a still dialogue than a fight scene, because
that is funny to think about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but what about bonuses? Like after the project's done and like it's starting to be sold, do you get any kind of bonuses for how well it does afterwards? Or does that?
I don't know. I don't think they do in Japan. In France, the only studio that does this is the one that's behind Despicable Me. They had a bad habit of having really low wages for their 3D animators, but they'd be like, "Oh, but if we do well, you'll get a bonus."
That was the incentive.
But as an incentive, but then they kind of tweak the rules of the game so that but you only get the bonus if you work that amount of months on the project. So if you only got in late, or if you get laid out, you don't get the bonus, which I think is really scummy.
I think that's really scummy considering how much money they made off of those movies. Like you have more than enough to throw around.
Everything.
That's what I'm saying.
Like Disneyland itself, like will have all this stuff, you know, like
that confuses me. That's needless greediness.
Yeah.
Back in 2015, 2016, so in France, unions aren't really the work laws are different. And so the CEO of the Despicable Me studio was also ahead of the production managers union, and he wanted to lower the wages of any newcomers to the industry. Again, to cut corners, even though they made so much buck, and we had to fight like lions to kind of be like, no. Young animators still are doing animations, and they deserve to be paid like animators and not like a junior position. Why
is it always in the art fields where like the people who are actually creating the product that is making the money are somehow the ones who get treated the worst? Like this happened in comics, like in the early 90s and all of that, and it kind of it's still going on in the comics. Like I don't understand why these sorts of revenue is being treated so poorly.
We aren't being taught just how valuable our work is. We aren't being given the tools to negotiate confidently like a livable wage. We're being told that we're lucky to be working in this, whereas not many people can draw like we do.
Yeah,
this is true.
You won't find another worker in the street and be like, okay, your dude is very skilled, because we know a couple of softwares. We know the visual language. we can draw, like the technicality of it, and
Yeah.
like any other workforce with that level of qualification, like engine repairman or like people doing software related stuff, and they have to master a couple of different software as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get paid normally and nobody contests when they're asking for a good price for their work. But when we do, it's like, oh, but you should consider yourself lucky that I'm even paying you for your art. And
Ugh.
I think
I don't know.
crowdfunding is probably the best way to counteract this. Because if
Yeah.
we start making it ourselves, then they're
Yes.
gonna need us even more
Yeah.
if we're the reasons that they're making money in the first place.
Yeah.
It's damn, yeah. Shit is stupid.
Mugga
Mhm.
asked the question: does does Japan have unions for their artists?
No. The artists are starving.
Yeah,
It
I
is
heard about
so
this
bad
dude.
that did you heard about the dorms?
Nah, I heard about this dude that his dream was to work on Naruto. Then he got the golden ticket and work on Naruto. And he was working on Shippuden, and he was living. Like he said, he was like living the poorest that he's ever been in his life, where he was surviving off 7-Eleven food and barely making rents to live out there while animating for Naruto, and that like scared the crap out of me.
You see, it's the same situation. Considering how much money Naruto makes, they have no reason to be paying the artists like that little.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, I feel like the only winner out of this is like the creator himself.
Yeah.
And the publisher.
Yeah.
I know that some studios are trying to make a change, like I think Studio Trigger.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had to crowdfund a dorm because the animators couldn't afford rent close to the studios, so they would sleep under the desk. If you've watched Agretsuko on Netflix, you can see that the work, like the workplace ethics are a bit different. It doesn't matter as much. I mean, sometimes what matters is how you present at work and not necessarily the work that you do.
Yeah.
I think it still matters in the animation industry, but from what I've been told from the people I know that worked in Japan, like, people stay at work very late, but they're not necessarily working the whole time that they're at the studio. And I think it's a little bit of the same from what I've heard of the people working in the US studios as well. Which is really different from my experience in my home country, where we get at work at a certain hour, we work straight up until like lunchtime, and then after lunch we work until we clock out, and we've only focused on that. We haven't taken many breaks, but at the end of the day we're done and we go home and
yeah, you can get to sleep
we're done.
easy. Yeah.
Yeah. And you get to log out and have your regular life, because there's this unhealthy work ethic sometimes that art should be your whole life, and that if you're not doing extra hours, you're not motivated.
Yeah.
Which is, no, I'm motivated to work on my project, but I also have a right to sleep and eat and see my family, my kids if I have any.
Yeah.
Get some sun
Stuff
every
like
now
that.
and then.
Yeah. Smell the flowers.
Yeah, 'cause I even heard like they have this thing that happens in Japan where people are overworked so much where they just collapse and fall asleep in the middle of the street.
Yeah, I've never worked in Japan, so I don't want to say like propagate any lies or misconceptions, so I don't want to talk too much about stuff that I don't actually know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I actually saw this like in a video where it was like it was like a news thing. It wasn't anything about animators, but it was just about the work ethic in general in Japan. And you just see dudes in suits sleeping on the sidewalk. Either that they got
Maybe
out
they
of the
just
bar or
partied.
something. Yeah, like either they just got out of the bar or whatever.
You don't know. I saw a couple of people passed out in the street, but mostly because they had too many drinks.
Yeah.
And I went,
Yeah, public drinking is like is allowed in Japan.
I don't know.
Yeah. Pretty sure it is.
I don't even know if it is in France.
I know it's not in the US.
Oh no.
That's why everybody
you
just
get taken
got
away like immediately.
Yeah. Unless you got a paper bag over your shit.
Yeah.
And then they won't know.
I'm just
Like,
do
if
need
you go to a bar and you order a beer and it's summer, can you take your glass of beer outside?
Nope.
No. No,
Yeah,
you're not allowed.
That'll still be like considered public intoxication.
Yeah. Like you can be drunk outside and shit, but you can't be actively drinking in front of everyone out in public.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm gonna keep that in mind next time I go to America, because
Oh yeah.
I mean, it depends. Like if you're standing like right outside the bar and you're just having your drink, like that's fine. If you start traveling or go to a park and have this shit out, like that's not.
Even outside the bar, sometimes I gotta like stop people because they're gonna take that drink and they're gonna walk around, and then by the time the cop catches up to them, they'd be like, "Oh, where did I get this from?" I'm like, "Oh, from the bar down the street." And then now I gotta have like this really awkward talk with the cop. And then I gotta have a really, really uncomfortable talk with my boss.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit illegal in France, but I don't think it's really enforced, because you see people with a bottle of wine near the river all the time. Or in the park just having a picnic.
Yeah. Well, does France have like any type of substance abuse problems? Like, is it like really bad out there?
I don't know, because I'm pretty vanilla. I don't.
It's just not
use any substances. Maybe I drank too much coffee.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh yeah, that's not good.
But
I used to get headaches if I didn't have my cup of coffee that day. That's how I knew I was drinking too much.
Same.
Oh yeah. Well, it's more like your body is going into a withdrawal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. Because like sometimes I used to drink, like I was a mad coffee drinker. I would drink like 12 cups a day, and that's how I would. Yeah, man.
No, like the most I drink is about this much coffee a day, and it's with that much milk.
See, I would drink that much, like 2 cups of that, but black.
Yeah.
With sugar. Like sometimes I'll put cream in it, but like I don't do as often as I used to.
Oh no, I just take it black straight up. I go to a coffee shop and I'm like, oh, what type of coffee you want? Just give me some regular black coffee. I want my coffee just as bitter as me.
Like a latte is the best I can do.
A latte.
Yeah. Maybe a cappuccino if I'm really feeling it.
Nothing's wrong with the latte.
I'm getting withdrawal because I'm out of coffee right now. And I had a headache the other day.
That's what sucks. Yeah, when you just out of coffee and like, I'm sorry, brain, that could do.
I started drinking coffee because I had headaches, and it would fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the trap.
Trap. Then you get in, and if you stop, then you get a headache for sure.
What's so funny to me is that the headache only lasts for that day. The next day, you'll be fine. It won't get up anymore. That's the funniest part. You got to resist
Not
it
always.
that one day. Really?
Yeah, for me, it can last on for a couple of days.
Oh
It's
no.
sick,
Yeah.
which sucks.
Oh no. How much water are you drinking? Because I start trying to like
Oh
flush it
yeah.
out and
Trying
stuff.
Yeah, you gotta
trying
drink
to
lots of
drink a
water to
lot of
filter that.
water. I always have my bottle with me, but
It's looking
try to
kind of
drink
empty
at
right
least
now.
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah. Because even when I was drinking 12 cups, I was drinking lots of water.
Yeah.
That's literally like the only way. Like I feel like sometimes if you don't drink water with coffee, or prior, before, or after, you're not gonna really experience any of the benefits of the caffeine if you
Mhm.
are avidly drinking constantly. Sometimes that water is the
What?
thing that you need to like really
Jim.
jump it up. Yeah.
This is actually a good segue into one of my friends did a very nice Instagram story about tips for students in the animation industry, but it's
Yeah.
all in French.
Mm-hmm.
So he had this segment about how it's good to maintain a healthy lifestyle for art because in order to draw, sure, your hands are involved, but so is your brain. And if
Mm-hmm.
it's not properly rested, if you haven't eaten well, if you haven't drank enough water, you're just not going to be able to visualize just as well the images you
Yeah.
want to draw to be creative. So half of what it takes to make a good drawing comes from your brain. So if, yeah,
Yeah.
working yourself out every night or not sleeping well is not going to make you better. You have to work smart, not more.
Yeah.
We're not just saying this to sound like we're just pushing the positivity. Like it's true, guys. All
Yeah.
the best artists are like swole as hell.
Yeah. Because then you're
Yeah.
gonna turn 30 and you're gonna be like, I feel like I'm gonna die. Um,
It's just
yeah.
healthy as fuck. Goddamn.
Which 30 is still young.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to try new stuff. It's okay to like you can jump from a position to another in the animation industry. There's a lot of bridges between different categories of jobs. So
Yeah.
if you don't have the skills required to be a storyboard artist right now, but you do to be a background artist, start with that. And
Yeah.
then it's not gonna lock you in position for the rest of your life. You can still go back to storyboards if you feel like it, or move on to a different job. It's you're not stuck.
Oh yeah. Oh, oh here's something I just thought of because recently I found out that like I actually do draw best when I have absolutely no distractions. As obvious as that sounds,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I used to always just be in like the chat rooms and everything, but then like
Oh
listening to the
yeah.
conversations is distracting me and like slowing me down. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
still work and talk at the same time. It's just that it's slower than it normally is.
I think it
So,
depends on the person and the mood
oh yeah, I'm never
sometimes.
been good at multitasking. So like I can only multitasking if one of the two things I'm doing takes like no thought.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. Most of the times, if I'm in that chat room, I'm either muted or something, or I'm just away. I'm not really. I don't really have my headphones on, and
Where
I'm like working on stuff in the back.
oh man. Oh, how would you say the French industry differs from the American industry?
I haven't worked in the American industry, so I don't have a first-hand experience.
Okay.
But from what I've gathered from my friends who came to work in LA or New York, sometimes Vancouver, even though it's Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the I kind of touched this topic earlier, that the work hours are a little bit different. From what I've been told, um, sometimes they don't go to work at very regular hours. They take a lot of breaks. They chit chat a lot, which isn't a bad thing. But yeah, there can be days when they don't get much work done, and then another day they're gonna be like working until 11 p.m. to make up for that. And I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on that because if I were to be put in that situation, it might work really well for me actually. Um, in France, it's a little bit more like regulated, but not in a way that feels enforced. Um, I think the main difference would be in that in the US you have big companies like Disney, Netflix, Cartoon Network, and they do their own shows in-house and they're the ones who distribute it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in France, you have tiny studios that you've never heard about and probably never will. And the way that we get funded for funds for our projects is that producers will gather money from the state, from private investors, from diffusers like local television, foreign television, so they work together between countries. Oftentimes, you're going to have a France and UK production or a France and Germany or Italy, whatever, and they kind of team up, usually with Luxembourg as well, because they have animation studios. And they kind of share the for workload between these countries. So you have like two studios working on a film. And that difference is that in America, Disney is gonna keep like the door shut on their project, not leak any information. You have like tight NDAs. Nothing can come out until it comes out, and then we release a big movie with merch and whatever. Whereas here, we have to communicate as much as we can in the movie so that it gets fun, so that it gets seen, so that an audience can see the movie and know that it exists because we don't have as much advertising as power as Disney does.
Yeah.
Because we need the theaters to buy the copies, and in order to buy the copies, they have to know that people are going to see it. They know that people will show up for Disney, but will they show up for our indie film that's about I don't know, some massacre in Asia, or the childhood of an American character? They don't know. And so we have very smaller teams where everybody's talking. You usually are in the same room as the director, and you get to really work as a group effort, and you know everyone, and you get to talk about topics that Disney could never. And yeah, it's a very different ambiance, but I like it. I like that we can make movies that we feel passionate about for reasons of our own, and we get to feel like we had an impact on the production that matters. Because when, for example, if I'm doing a shot and I want to bring a new idea to it, I can just talk with the director and get it approved, and a piece of me will be there. I'm not just assign this shot and just get it done and move on to the next one. I feel like we're a little bit more emotionally involved into what we do. And I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. I just enjoy it.
I'd say it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy not feeling like a cog in the machine, basically.
Yeah. Sounds like you and your team are actually in sync, which is really nice to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a question that Mug wanted to ask, if I can pull it up right now. Said, what positions are there? All I know is storyboards, characters, and backgrounds, and prop. Anything else?
Your sound cut a little bit for me there.
Mug asks, What positions are there in animation? I know there are storyboards, character artists, backgrounds, and props. Is there anything else?
Yeah, there's a lot of them, especially if you're going into the 3D uh, pipeline, which is way more segmented. In 2D, which I know about. If you don't want to draw so much, you have the production manager and recruiters, and they coordinate the teams. You have screenwriters, technical directors, so they're like, for example, the director and storyboard artist have been working on an episode,
Mm-hmm.
and in order to know just how many people are gonna need and how long it's gonna take, you take each shot and you're like, okay, in this shot we're gonna need this background, maybe we can reuse this background from another shot. We have that many characters, we're gonna need a new design for this one because it's a new character. We're gonna need to do the sound, like take the voices from the voices actor for these characters, so we need to book them for that date. So it's a very like you're in charge of what's gonna happen. There's a lot of tiny ants that you'd never imagine would be working in the colony, and they're doing an incredible job, and technical director is doing that. Sometimes it's assistant director. You have character designers, background artists, prop artists, the layout artist. Sometimes it's an in-between position in between the storyboard and the animation.
Mm-hmm.
So to go from one to the next, sometimes you need another position because the storyboards can be very rough, and sometimes there are some mistakes as well. In order for the animator to just sit down and animate his shot, we need to have a solid basis, solid grounds on which to build the shot. So we need the background to be more laid out. So and like have the models of the characters in the shot, so that if the character would come into the shot, sit on a chair, and then leave, and you have your animation team and your background team, and sometimes they're not in the same country.
Yeah.
So you have to have it matched so that the character isn't sitting on like the void and the chair is over there. The layout artist takes care of that. So they're drawing the character with their correct model sheet in the right size, so they have a very good drawing skills, because they need to be drawing the characters like perfectly on model.
Yeah.
And they're going to give you like 1 or 2 drawings of the characters in the shot, so that when you as an animator is opening the file, you're not going to make any mistakes and draw the character too big or off model or not in the right position or space on the screen. So you have like these 2 key poses. It's kind of like key pose animation sometimes. So layout artist. When you're going from storyboards to a final shot as well, you have the key color artist. So they're kind of doing some quick paintings over the storyboard to kind of set up the color mood of it. And then when the background artist comes in and paints the background, he's going to come from that, so he knows that it's a sunset or it's a sunrise, so he has the correct light direction, or it's a blue shot. This is the hue that it should be in because of reasons. So you have that. Trying to think of 2D compositing artist. So when the shot is done, the background artist, the animation artist, the FX artist have been working separately on their files. He just combines them, adds some effect, do some color correction so that it matches the previous and next shot. This is a job at the end of the line that usually everything is kind of left. Like any problem that arises, we're like, oh, people in comp are going to deal with it. They will know. So all the problems kind of fall onto your shoulders at the end of the line, and it's all resting up on you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have editor. So they take the storyboards and edit it in the timeline with the voices and stuff. Trying to think. Yeah, there's a lot of jobs like that yeah, deserve more recognition, I guess.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know, like, when I was in school, I didn't even know, like, I didn't learn all this stuff until, like, when I was almost out the door. And I really thought, like, you have to do it all by yourself. Because they made us, like, our finals, like, our like, for animation and everything else in class. So, like, we have finals on finals on finals on finals. And our graduation piece, like, it had to be at least, animated. They got to be like some color. They was expecting the most. Like, we want color, animation, we need a background, and this, that, and the other. And then
Jesus.
when a lot of people just couldn't make that cut on top of all the other finals they had to turn in, that's when they started like, okay, we're just gonna pass people along.
Yeah.
And then, like, later on,
you never
like,
had
dude,
any
it's a
group
whole
projects?
freaking team. We had a few, but it never was a part of our, like, portfolio. It wasn't like a big standing part of our portfolio. You could have, like, taken some of it, but that's if the teacher allowed you. It was something really weird. Like, my friend, he did
That's
like a lot
odd.
of legwork for someone's portfolio. He did a lot of, like, fixing of animations and, like, coloring some of them in. He did a lot of stuff. He sprinkled around everywhere, like, just picking up the slack from everyone else. And the teacher came up to him and said, like, you can't add any of this to your portfolio. And he was like,
Why?
and with so much spite, he was like, okay, fuck you, I'm gonna, like, still graduate, and I'm gonna, like, have my own thing. And he really did it. Like, he did all his projects on his own, and he was able to put a portfolio together. But I
Yeah,
think,
that's what was MVP. He would
yeah,
have been
yeah,
very valuable in a production setting because clearly he can get his job done and then help others,
yeah,
Yeah,
multitasking on different
yeah,
parts of the process.
yeah,
That's that's MVP in a studio's
yeah,
mindset.
like that's what I'm always trying to do.
yeah.
I mean, in the project that I'm working on now, we're trying to make this comic, and we have a background artist. So I was like, okay, I can draw like after I finish my pages, I can like hint at where the background stuff should be at to make it easy for him to like lay it out. Then had one of the other guys there. He's like, no, don't do that. You know, that's his job. I'm like, bro, like we're all working on the same thing. I'm just making his job a little easier because it benefits the project. Like I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah.
And I'm not overworking myself or trying to do his job for him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. There's a lot of mentalities that get in the way of the final product, I feel like. And, you know, the internet's kind of enforcing a lot of the bad ones, and it's really hard to filter them out.
True.
So, yeah. Communication is key, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
It is. Animation is a group effort. You're gonna go so much further with people working with you.
Yeah. Also, that guy is definitely going places because you do need to know a little bit of everything to be able to like run like a bigger like project.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate
Also,
because the school I went to, like, it just kind of killed everyone's spirit in art as a whole. Like, he doesn't do animation anymore. If he was doing like Viscom stuff, and he just had like a lot of hardships with his computer and stuff. And now he's just like going to doing just like one drawing a day. He's not like animating like he used to or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that as long as he's having fun, sometimes you're falling in and out of animation.
Yeah.
But yeah, knowing how to do different stuff in the pipeline is good because you need to know how your action and decisions are going to impact people down the line. You don't want to make the work harder for them if by just minimal effort you can make it easier on them. It's good to know how.
Mm-hmm.
It's also really easy not to be an asshole.
Man.
Like you ain't gotta be nice. You just don't have to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is getting pretty late in my country.
Oh yeah, we're already in that.
And I
That
need to wake
timer.
up super early tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, thank you for
Oh,
stopping by.
what time
Really
is it for you
appreciate
right
it.
No
now?
problem. It's not that late usually for me. I just had a really short night of sleep and I have to teach tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Oh my.
But it's only 10 p.m. now.
Oh damn. Okay. Yeah. I
I still
understand.
need to do a little bit of prep work for my lesson and yeah.
Well, thank you very
Oh,
much for coming by, and really,
Thank you
really
for having
appreciate
me.
you giving me this opportunity to like just talk to you and like touch bases on the animation industry and like how you go about your work and all the like tons of questions that we like threw at you.
yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I hope I could have been of some help to somebody and thank you for having me.
No,
This was fun.
yeah, man, no problem. Is there any final
Been
words you
hearing.
want to give to anyone out there, like a
Oof,
see you next
pressure.
time?
Yeah, see you next time. Let's be positive like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
All
All right.
right.
Well, nice meeting you. Been hearing a lot of new perspectives and been learning a lot. Thanks for dropping the knowledge.
You too. Yeah, I hope I could have been of some help. Don't hesitate to ask me questions if there's anything that I can clarify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'll probably like send you some of my animations when I get started up in again. That's what my advice here.
Nice. Yeah, I'd love to give you some feedback.
Okay.
All right. Have
Thank you.
a good night or good morning.
It's
Good night.
It's night. It's 10 p.m. I'm
It's
gonna
10 p.m. I swear,
bye.
because the lighting in your room looks so warm. I don't know if it's like the lighting of the camera or the settings that you had. It looks so warm. Something
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's just the lights, but it's night.
the lamp. I
Like
see
it's
it.
just me trying to have as much light as I can
Yeah.
to
It works.
counteract the fact that the moon is up.
All right. Well, sleep well.
But yeah. Thank you. See you soon then.
All right.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.
Bye bye.